there's a phenomenon that you guys probably haven't heard about if you're not a political nerd like me. And I mean, there's no short form for it, but it basically just refers to moderating your position. It's kind of what they call it. Which, if you break it down, let me tell you what it really means. It means if you're a politician and you're running for political office, you're going to say to people, I'm going to promise everyone every Friday off. I'm going to increase your wages by by double. Everyone's going to have luxury and all that kind of stuff. But then when you start to get closer and closer to power, you start to kind of tail off that a little bit. All those things you said, well, they were just promises. You didn't expect me to actually do that. Reform's already doing it. As always, I've told you guys, if you really want to know about Reform's real agenda, stick with War and World Weekly. If you want to hear about them caring about flags and racial this and DEI that, you're in the wrong place. I do not care about that one bit. I'm telling you the straight dope about what's really going on. So Richard Tice, one of the Reform's MPs, it was on with Andrew Marr. Andrew Marr, is that his name? Yeah, the former BBC guy. And it turns out all the things Reform promised as part of the economic agenda, they've turned their back on all of them. So Reform said clearly they were going to increase the personal allowance from 12.5k, which it is now, to 20k. They mentioned cutting VAT entirely. They mentioned getting rid of corporation tax, reducing the employer's national insurance that was increased recently last year. All those things are things that Richard Tice, one of the MPs, is now saying, oh, we're not going to do any of that anymore. So Andrew Marr was pressing him. I might try and put some of the videos in here. Andrew Marr was pressing him quite seriously about what's going on. Let me stop. I'm going to put a video in there.
Cutting fuel duty by 20 pence per litre, abolishing VAT on energy bills, inheritance tax, corporation tax, VAT, all gone.
That was a list for the time. Now we're in a completely different time.
But those tax cuts have all gone.
All aspiration.
So that was a short clip of Richard Tice on an LBC. Andrew Marr was pressing him, saying, okay, what about all these tax cuts? I was like, we don't know. We didn't mean. Reform and the Conservatives, they're the same side of the same coin. Reform's being really extreme on immigration right now and all these kind of stuff. But remember when the Conservatives came in? Was it Theresa May, the go home vans and all that kind of stuff? We've seen it all before. There's no difference. They're not. If anyone out there watching this thinks Reform is an alternative, they're an alternative because they have a different brand. It's a bit like Manchester United. It's an alternative to Chelsea because they wear blue and Chelsea wear red. Is there any meaningful difference between those two things apart from the fact they're just football clubs and exist to make profit for their owners? Do they care? Are they different?